Hey, what's happening, gang? It's your boy, Mahesh Chocolingo. I'm getting ready to wrap up my Sunday and go to bed. I just wanted to share a video with you. This month is Diwali month, and I am fasting this month. And fasting usually entails several things. It is tradition in many cultures around the world, and it's for the purpose of cleansing yourself. One, you're fasting with from eating meat or maybe certain kinds of foods. That's to help your body recover. Two, you're fasting from physical pleasure, whether it be through stimulants or whatever chemical stimulants, any kind of a stimulant that distracts you or take you away from yourself. And so that was the original intention and purpose of fasting. Also, this time is the month of Diwali or Deepavali, which is a Hindu festival of lights, which also celebrates the return of Lord Ram back to Ayodhya in ancient India. And so you can look up what that is. Also, my favorite podcaster, Joe Rogan, does something called Sober October, where he spends 30 days no drugs, no alcohol, no anything, does a lot of yoga, does a lot of workout, continues his training. And he says that that's sort of, I find it interesting that he's not a Hindu, I don't think, but he chooses October to do this thing with his friends. So I always thought that was cool. And it lines up with this time of the month, which is something that my wife practices and I am doing with her. So I decided to play this video with Sadhguru for you that I found, and it says the evil effects of watching porn explained by Sadhguru, and simple tips to overcome it by Sadhguru. And I think they have found psychological effects on. Now I'm not free of this. I have and probably still do from time to time indulge in porn. Right? So, hey, that's my big secret. It's out. But I am consciously trying to make the effort to pull myself away from that because I understand the ramifications and the effects it has on the brain and your chemicals and your hormones. And it kind of keeps you depressed and all kinds of things. It's almost like a drug, right? You watch it and it stimulates you, and then next thing you know, you're trying to go back for that stimulation over and over. So it keeps raising the bar, and it creates a lot of problems in society. It creates relationship problems. It creates indulgence problems. It creates all kinds of issues. It's anything that creates that problem in you should be looked at, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play this video by Sadhguru. Let's get into it, and let's see what he has to say. I'm curious. Let's go ahead and switch over to live.
When you were, let's say 10, 12 years of age, you looked at somebody, they were just fine. Suddenly you became 14, 15, your intelligence got hijacked by your hormones. You look at somebody, every bump on their body looks like a world by itself.
Today, I would say
that's true.
95% of human energy is either invested in sex or money. Yes or no?
Yeah.
These are two small aspects of your life.
Facts.
One is about your survival, another is a certain aspect of your physiology, okay? It has become so big because somebody told you these two things are wrong.
Telling him that girl is for you, his mind is going crazy. He watches movies, these days pornographic stuff is all over the place, he's watching it on the phone. So he thinks this is what every girl wants. He's unable to think beyond that, you must understand his problem.
Because we just said something is wrong and you should not think about it. If you just let it be, reproductive organs are a small part of who you are.
Right.
But what should be in the reproductive organ has been very efficiently pushed up into the human head. Now sexuality is not happening in their bodies, it's happening in their head all the time. In this mind, if you say something is bad, do not think about it, that will become the full-time job. If you say, don't think about this, only that they will…
That's a very good point. He's pointing out something that That's what we do, right? Like even now I'm fasting right now, I notice that I keep telling myself, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't, and my mind thinks about it more. But if I distract myself and I throw myself into like my work or my job or exercising, I do a lot of working out, or uh, podcasts or just creating, then my mind, or meditating, my mind doesn't go there as much. So I think the key is we got to find that balance. We got to find that way to take our brains. There's got to be techniques, right?
I think people who did not understand the nature of human mind brought morality into life.
So there are many reasons why one indulges in sex. For some, it is just pleasure. For some, it is a way of building this bond and companionship. Otherwise, people feel they're going away from each other. They may be just fine, but a lot of people, it is psyched in their mind that if they're not sexually involved, they're actually moving away. Not true. You can be very
Right.
close to somebody and need not be involved in any physical manner, isn't it?
Yeah.
But societies are psyching, especially in this part of the world, people are hugely psyched. If there is no sexuality, you don't really have a relationship. In fact, the
That's
word
true.
relationship, it took me some time to understand, that here, if you say a relationship, you're supposed to understand it's sex-based relationship. Nothing else is a relationship. If I can have a very strong relationship with you and not be concerned about your body, isn't it? I may not be drawn to your body in any way, but I can have a very powerful relationship with you. But all those possibilities are completely discounted. A relationship means you must be in some way physically involved, man, woman, or man, woman, whatever you like. Essentially, it's body-based.
Right.
What kind of body is individual choices, but essentially it is body-based. This has happened because somewhere our identification in the body has gone beyond normal levels of identity. It is excessive identification with the body. That is why body-based relationships have become the crux of the society. I keep hearing these complaints all over. Some people, generally women, keep complaining their husbands are excessively physical. Some woman constantly complaining, he doesn't lay a finger upon me. Whatever happens, it's a problem, because it'll never happen exactly the way you want it. As long as another person is involved, nothing will ever happen 100% the way you want it, isn't it so?
Facts. Facts.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
It never will. It doesn't matter if you get married to your god, it still won't happen. As long as your way of being, your sense of pleasure and joy is dependent on other person, you'll always have a complaint. Doesn't matter how wonderful the other person is. So, it is not sexuality per se which becomes the barrier, but the attachment it creates to the physicality which definitely becomes the barrier. Now I'm speaking, this is a kind of energy. You're looking at me, this is a kind of energy. You're listening to me, this is a kind of energy. These are different expressions of the same life energy, isn't it? Now, sexuality is also another expression of the same energy. Now, one has to decide how much of his energy, in which direction he wants to send it. Because after all, you are a limited amount of energy. This question is coming from certain amount of bits and pieces, the gossip that you have heard about how you could assimilate your own semen and raise it up to your higher possibility. Yes, it is true. At the same time, it is not because of abstinence that one does it, it is because of internalizing your energies that you do it. It is not simply that somebody is abstaining from sex and suddenly his energies are all organized and it's going up. It's not true. If your energies get organized and begin to move up, the need for sexuality may evaporate for you, but it doesn't leave you incapable, it doesn't leave you impotent, but the need is gone. It is just no more a compulsive thing. And it is not just this one thing, all compulsiveness is lost. Essentially, most of the sexuality that's happening on the planet is happening because of a certain compulsiveness, isn't it? It's a compulsive drive.
Wow.
It is not the sexuality which limits it, but it's the excessive identity with the physicality which limits it. If you make it too big, you will become perverted in your head. If you try to obliterate it, you will become even more perverted in your mind. One who is too identified with your physical body naturally is sex-driven, because that is the highest thing that he knows.
There are ways we can make you find something which is far bigger than this. Once you taste something better, I don't have to tell you, give this up or give that up, it'll anyway fall off, isn't it? There are ways to do certain sadhana which is more intense than sexuality, which is more ecstatic than sexuality.
On one level, if you look at it,
All dimensions of yoga, one way or the other, are ultimately trying to activate the pineal. Because once it begins its secretion, everything about you becomes sweet and beautiful. It creates a whole inner pleasure, which makes all the outer pleasures look like kindergarten stuff. That's the reason yogis are just sitting with eyes closed, not because they're against pleasure, they're against small pleasures, that's all. So the Shambhavi, one thing that's happening is, it stimulates the pineal secretion in a big way, which leaves you drenched in a certain level of sweetness throughout the day. It just leaves you in a certain state of ecstasy and blissfulness because the pineal gland is active. This is one aspect of your physiology which is very close to your consciousness. The rest of the physiology is about survival, but pineal gland is one aspect of your physiology which is very, very close to transcending the physical.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Sadhguru clips. I like a lot of what he talks about, and it's in line with a lot of what I grew up with. I grew up in the transcendental meditation movement with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. In fact, my father named me after Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. That's where I got my name Mahesh from. And we live in a world that's full of physicality and physical indulgence, and I think these ancient mystics or gurus or teachers are here to sort of remind us and guide us back to that understanding that we need to understand that we're more than just this physical body, right? We're actually energy. And when we understand that or come into that full understanding or awareness of it, we can actually control that energy from exploding out like it always does, right? That's why we build up all this charge of energy, and then when you have sex, you orgasm and you release. And that energy is leaving you, it's gone, right? It's no longer there, and then you die down, and then you're like, which is why people masturbate and all this stuff, and why you watch porn. Because you're trying to indulge, you're trying to get your chemicals or your chemistry to a point where you could feel that energy and boom, you release. So I just want to say that I think in this time or this month of Sober October and fasting, we should take the time to observe ourselves and just pay attention and focus on yourself inwardly, and just observe it. Just I thank God I was raised in meditation, so one of the things they taught me was just observe your thought. Don't shun it, don't judge it, don't put it down, don't be guilty, don't do anything. Just watch it surface in your mind like a bubble, and just look at it and be like, that's an interesting thought. Okay. And there's things and techniques you can look up. Go ahead and visit Sadhguru's website. He has systems in place that you can practice. There are other gurus out there that also give you practices and other religious practices you can use. But he makes a good point when he says that whoever came up with the concept of morality doesn't understand how the human brain works. And in actuality, it's pushing you away from the goal, which is to get away from the immediate sense of compulsive pleasure, which is sort of innate in our biological chemistry and our biology, right? So I think there are ways and methods out there to work our way or strengthen ourselves spiritually to not fall for that compulsiveness. And I am willing and I am open minded and I am throwing myself at doing the research and looking into it. And I would advise that you do too. And this could apply to not just sexuality, but drug use, alcoholism, anything that's damaging or hurting your life. It's time that you take the time to figure out a technique or something that works for you. Okay, go ahead and check out Sadhguru. He's got a lot of good videos out there. I recommend him to anyone and everyone. Doesn't hurt, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt to just hear what he has to say. You may not agree with something, but at least you're just keeping an open mind and you're just listening. And whatever guru or whoever you want to choose as a teacher, just find a teacher or a mentor that can help you spiritually and just go after it. Or if you're a strong individual and you're capable of doing it yourself, like a yogi, go do it, right? In India, these people are often referred to as yogis or yoginis, and they go up into the Himalayas or they go off into the wilderness and they do their practices and they come back. Or you can live your everyday life and find a mentor guru like Sadhguru and just do what you need to do. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys on the next one. And again, I really thank everybody for your support, my all 550 subscribers. And I hope to acquire more along the way. And thank you for listening and happy Diwali. Shubh Diwali. Bye.